Hello, welcome along to episode 237 of Adventures in Pop. It's another warm day here in London. My name is Simon Jacobs, and in this episode I want to focus on just one track. It's the track that we have focused on the least. Well, we haven't focused on it at all, really. From my brand new album, which is called Might As Well Dance. It came out on Friday, so it's been out a couple of days. I urge you to go and listen to it or go and watch the videos on YouTube. I'll leave links. Do check out the whole album. It's 12 tracks. It's mostly dancey. It is kind of a dance album, although I think not in the particularly traditional sense, i.e. there are some tracks probably on my dance album that are quite difficult to dance to. But in this episode, I'm focusing on track 11, and the reason for that is that tracks 1 to 10 have all been released as singles, and then I've even done a few videos very recently where I'm kind of going back to them and just doing a quick reminder of all of the tracks on this album up to track 10. Track 12 then got a special video because it's that is kind of the single that's coming out with the album. That came out on Friday. That is Another Saturday, track 12, written with my nephew. And that left poor old track 11 just sitting there, not a single, not getting offered to the Spotify editorial board, not being pitched, in other words, to them. So this, in a way, is like the track that's got away. And as I was at pains to point out the other day, there's nothing wrong with this track. There's nothing intrinsically worse about this track than all the others. You may like it and you may not like it, but I would say objectively it's not in a different league. It's not a different standard than the others. So I suppose the question is why have I been so mean to it that it doesn't get a single release and all the others do? The main reason is that something has to be held back just to come out at the same time as the album, just to have as an extra track there, so that not everything has already been exposed to the light when the album comes out. And that is the main reason. So it's not really, about the track or about anything that's wrong with the track. And Wasted is quite interesting. It's certainly got a big dance feel. It's got some nice female backing vocals that I've dug out, of the library, not AI. And it's a fun track. It's a fun, frivolous track. And the thing that's probably most interesting about this, is that if you chart the history of the song, it has been cobbled together. I use that phrase advisedly. It has been cobbled together out of bits of other songs that didn't in the end go anywhere. So, for example, the song's called Wasted. It is quite a curious song. It's basically a bit of a mix of regret about the passage of time, the fact that I've got older than I was, which I think happens to most people, but obviously it's much more brutal when it happens to me. So partly it's about the aging process, and partly it's just playing on that fabulous phrase. I don't know who came up with it originally, that youth is wasted on the young. And so I'm really just playing with that one phrase, youth is wasted on the young. That essentially is my chorus. But what I was thinking the other day is, when it comes to this song, I know that bits got picked up from other failed songs. So I kind of went back to, it's almost like putting a family tree together, try and work out, what are the descendants of this song. And there is a song that I wrote 6 years ago, literally to this month, back in 2019, and it was called Midlife Crisis. And in Midlife Crisis, I think I've got the words here. Let's have a look. Midlife Crisis has got the line, I said, what's killing? It's the thought that I'm past my peak. God knows the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. I kept that line from 6 years ago, a couple of lines, and an entire half a verse I spend every day running as fast as I can, but I never stop to look which way, and now I don't know where I am. That's the opening line of Wasted, comes from this track 6 years ago. I tell you what, quite interesting. I'll play you a little bit of how Midlife Crisis sounded 6 years ago, and then we'll, segue into Wasted, the 11th track on the album Might As Well Dance. But hey, so this is how it started many, many years back.
I say, you know what's killing the thought that I'm past my peak. God knows the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. I spent every day running just as fast as I can. I never stopped to look which way, and now I don't know where I am.
So it's turned out, those bits that I've yanked out of there and put into this have turned out very different than the way they're treated there. The song is very different. But look, the important point about this is don't ever throw away your words. It may be that some tunes get forgotten, particularly if they're not that strong. You might forget how you were using those words, but keep the words, because it's so useful when you might be 3/4 of the way through a song and you think, I've just got to finish, these lines, and it's a bit similar to this thing I once wrote. Go and find that set of words you once wrote and just steal as much of it. I mean, you're stealing from yourself. I don't think there's any harm in doing that. Steal as much of it as you want and put it into a new song. And as long as you remember what you've kind of released and what you haven't, you're not going to make the embarrassing error of releasing 2 tracks that share the same chorus, for example. That would be a bit strange. So don't do that. But this song, Wasted, which has been certainly in existence even as Wasted for a couple of years, actually has roots that go obviously quite a long way back. And 6 years, well, I mean, I'd only been doing this for a couple of years, back in 2019. So it's like, some words that have been yanked from the dawn of time and popped onto this track. So listen, I'd love you to enjoy Wasted. I'd love you to go and then listen to the whole album. But it's obviously important that we give this poor old 11th track its moment to shine in the sun. So here is, without any further ado, Wasted.
I spent every day running just as fast as I can. I never stopped to look which way. Now